Gilgamesh is magical, but he's also... literally, from, like, day one, Gilgamesh has been a fucking crackhead. I just will come in here and he's just being a little crackhead. That's... I don't even know how else to describe it. But he'll... like, the first day he was immediately climbing this cat tower and grabbing onto it and going like this. And I'm like, you are... something's going on with you. They take after their owners. Yeah. He's very energetic. And... yeah, he's been running all over, like, at all times. And Brian's just a bit more chill. And he's a bit more scared, too, but... I am glad that I got 2, because I think, like... they are keeping themselves quite occupied. And they have each other to play with. And not that I leave the house too much, but... they have different personalities to what you expected. I thought Brian would be, like, really cuddly. And want... like, he looks like a prissy bitch. He almost looks like he's supposed to be a girl cat or something. And I thought Gilgamesh might be more, like, skittish or something. But no. Gilgamesh is, like, everything that you want in a cat. And Brian is also a really good cat, but he's, like, a bit more, like... I think he needs to warm up a bit more. Because, of course, they've only been here, like, what, like... 2 or 3 days. I think this is their 3rd day. I think they're having a good time. Hello, roars. Boys can be prissy too, yeah. But I think the more that I'm in here with them and stuff too, the more, of course, used to me that they're getting. Brian's a bit more cat. Yeah, he's demure and mindful. Perhaps he is. They sleep like... sometimes they sleep in these positions where I'm like, how the fuck are you sleeping like that? Like earlier, Gilgamesh was sleeping with his head like entirely down off of the side of this bed. Because this like ring around them is really soft. And so it's like... if they're on the edge of it, they'll slide right off. But it's also must be nice for their little necks to be on. But... yeah, I've been leaving like a lot of... I had a t-shirt in here for them. And then since Brian loves my socks, and he's still kind of scared of me, I gave him 2 of my socks. And he loves them. He's got one in this... in here. And then he's got another one somewhere around the room that he plays with. I think it's in his... I think it's in this fluffy bed over here. They've got a million fucking toys. And they play with all of them. Ezio, he's a cutie too. And he took 2 weeks to warm up to us, and now we can't get rid of her. Brian will be annoying later. I think so. I think he's, like, figuring it out. Because I think also, like... as much attention as they got at that house, there was also, like, what, 7 of them or something. Any springs? I've got one. There's a spring toy over here. This little red thing. Brian was freaking out for it. He was like, this is the best thing ever. Hair ties I'm afraid to give them because I've seen things about, like, cats swallowing hair ties. So I get really nervous about that. But they're maybe, like, scrunchies and stuff because those are harder to swallow. Yeah, I've got the water fountain. I did, like, I am, like... I'm so anxious about anything going wrong, especially... that being my fault, that I've like tried to research everything. I'm like asking my mods like, how many times am I supposed to feed them and stuff? My hair's probably lightened up a bit, roars, and also probably the lighting too because I usually have it blue. Josie's favorite toy is this scrunched up bit of foil. Yeah, Candace likes paper is her favorite thing. Are you gonna insure them? Yeah, when I go to the vet next week, they've got like a vet pack for the vet office specifically that's like 14 quid a month or something, and then you can also get pet insurance. And they've got some kind of kitten package where it's like, instead of paying for everything separate, they do a deal on it that's like the microchip, the injections, or the vaccinations or whatever. So I'm just gonna like probably do everything because I'm so afraid. No, they're just sleeping. Because they've got those packages and stuff, but part of the pro package is like 24-hour access to the vet. I think you can like video call them or something if something is wrong. And I will be so scared. I was stupid and cancelled mine, found out my cat had a heart murmur and had to take them to a specialist. Goodness. Yeah, I think I'm gonna like just make sure they have everything because like I said, I'm so anxious for anything to happen that I'm like, I want to make sure that they'll be taken care of. Yeah, they like to lay like on top of each other. And I'm sure at some point they're going to freak out and run all over the place because that's what they do. I'm trying my best. I think I've done a good job so far. Like, I tried to give them space when they got here. I've let them figure out this room and explore, so they're pretty comfortable in here. And then I think once they get a little bit bigger, like, I'll let them into the rest of the house. But I've also got to, I've got these mesh, like, things that go around the window that have a zipper so that you can open the window and they won't get out and then zip it back up. What are they like through the night? It's funny because I think they act crazy at about, like, midnight or 1. And then I think they sleep for quite a while. And then I see them, like, I've checked the camera. I've checked the camera at, like, 4 a.m. or something, and they've been awake. I'm in a flat, a 2-bedroom flat, though. So this is the second bedroom, is my office. And, like, I think with this, they're already like, whoa, this is so much space. But also, they're getting into such small areas that I'm like, I don't want to let them into the rest of the house yet. Because in here, even, they'll go behind something, and I'll be like, oh, where are they? Because they're so small still. And also, I think, like, they still don't understand that the cables are not for chewing yet. But they're not bad about it. Like, they haven't destroyed any of them. But I'm gonna put more, like, cable housing on some of the stuff in the rest of the house. And then I've sprayed the bitter apple spray on some of the things that I don't want them to touch. So I'm trying to, in this room where I can control things a lot more, I'm trying to get them to understand, like, the good behavior and the bad behavior before I let them into the rest of the house or rest of the flat where I can't control that as much, you know? Have they hit the switch to your setup? No, but they have. Gilgamesh figured out getting on top of the footrest and then on top of the PC tower, and then Brian couldn't figure that out. And I was like, I really don't want you getting on top of the PC tower. So then I put a cage around the PC, and I've also wrapped a bunch of shit up so they can't get to anything. I know they'll probably, like, still do some little destructive things, but I think they'll stay inside because I'm not on the ground floor, and I have a balcony, and I might fence that in at some point, but I think I'm too neurotic and too anxious to allow them to be outside somewhere where they could possibly chew through some fencing or something and fall. But I'll probably have, like, the balcony door open because I have mesh that I bought for that too. Do they wake you up for breakfast? They do not yet. They sleep in actually till like 10, and then most of the time I'm having to wake them up to eat. So like they were sleeping at 6, which is when I fed them. But I crinkled the package, and Brian is food motivated like his mother. Parent. And so he woke up. But Gilgamesh kind of just grazes throughout the day, so he just kind of eats the dry food throughout the day, and he's not crazy about the wet food. Erica, see you? Because I've got, like, the dry food, I've got some that just kind of stays out all day, and they just snack on it when they feel like it. And then I've given them dry or wet food, and then a mix of it, wet and dry, at, like, certain times in the day. But I was gonna try to feed them at, like, 10 a.m., 2 p.m., and 6 p.m. But I find I feed them the wet food at 10 a.m. and they've got the dry food to eat. And they don't even eat, like, half a packet of kitten food between them. So I've only been giving them, like, a quarter of the wet food from the packet. And then they still leave it. And they don't eat all of it. And then they just graze on the dry food. So then when I feed them at 6, like, you can see probably in their bowl, Brian ate from, I think, one of them. And there's still a bit left. So I don't think they really even want to eat, like, 3 times a day, especially since they're grazing. But it's not like they're pretty good with their intake. Like, they're not overeating. And they just are kind of doing it their own way, which is also kind of nice. I do wet food in the morning, dry food throughout the day, wet food in the evening. Yeah, I think that's kind of what they're liking now. But Gilgamesh doesn't even really care about the wet food, so I think it's fine. Brian just likes it. I've only got these 2 pets, and they're my first pets as an adult, which is why I'm a helicopter neurotic parent. Because I'm so nervous to do the right thing. But yeah, they're pretty good. They're pretty good. Gilgamesh is a crazy little man. But he's a nice boy. And Brian just kind of sticks to himself, so... He's a quiet man.